practice this. And then number 4, express the main ideas in your own words. I was really squeaky today. Sorry about that. Okay. So you're first going to find the topic, the 1 to 2 sentences or 1 to 2 words that it means that we're talking about. Usually it's that same word over and over, right? Then we're going to figure out what's the most important thing the writer is wanting us to know. Then we're going to look for those supporting details, those little short ideas in there. And then once we have all that information, then we can write a main idea in our own words. Now, the nice thing about implied main ideas is it's just usually a general idea. It doesn't have to be the exact main idea that the writer is doing, but it's going to be very close, and we're going to figure out how to do that. So I want you to watch this video.
It has the main idea. The main idea is not always stated in the sentence is not there. Think, yeah, it. Let's look at a reading strategy. Snap language. I'm Mark Freiberg. Subscriber, you've been watching my videos about reading language, linguistics. You haven't subscribed yet. Well, I didn't say you should subscribe yet, but you use the truth I gave you and understood the message, even though it was. Let's look at a paragraph with that reply. A well-written paragraph. It is built around the topic, and the main idea of that paragraph is what think so beautiful. Essential. Yes. If you learn how to program computer myself, but it's important. Like, what John makes experience. Everything in this paragraph is about. So the topic of the paragraph is John. About John. Is set well.
Okay, so let's look at this. So, well, the topic of the paragraph is John, right? There's lots of talents listed. He has all of these. So, this guy has come up with John is, I'm sorry. John is talented in many ways. There's your main idea. Okay, it's not stated anywhere, right? But he's broken it down for us that we know that it's talking about talent is many ways. There's our S word, right? So then we can describe all the different ways. How is he talented? He sings, he's in sports, he plays, he paints, he dances. Okay, programs computers. Those are the ways. You see how you can kind of see that.
What the details are about. This sentence was not in the paragraph. It's just Read. Step. That's the main idea, and then it extends.
Okay. Here we go.
An idea. Stuff that works in it. It's an paragraph. I programming. Wow. This idea was so clear. So many patterns.
All right. Here we go. All right. Sushi has become very popular in the United States. Do you want to learn how to eat it in the traditional way? It's simpler than you think. First, forget the chopsticks and use your fingers to pick it up. Next, dip the sushi fish side down in soy sauce, but use a little for extra flavor. Finally, put the whole piece in your mouth. Okay, so what is the topic? Sushi. Very good. So sushi is the topic. What is the most important point? What is it telling us to do? How to eat it. What's that?
It's very popular in
Okay. All right. What are our supporting details? What? Okay.
Steps, there are some steps.
Okay, so we have steps, right? What's the first one?
There are two chopsticks.
Okay, we can forget chopsticks, pick it up by our fingers. Dip it. And the third step is put it in your mouth. All right. Okay, so anybody want to take a stab at telling me the main idea? How can we state the main idea?
Sushi.
How do we eat sushi in what?
Traditional way.
In the traditional way. What are we talking about? Steps. Remember, we have to have something in our main idea with that S word that we can say. How many steps are there? 3 steps. Okay, so think about your topic sentence again. We have to include the 3 steps. Okay.
There are 3 steps how to eat sushi.
Okay, there are 3 steps. To eating sushi. And what? In the traditional way. Okay, so do you see why it's so important to know the topic, how to eat it? We probably should have put here traditional way, right? Because that's a big part of the paragraph. And then when you start to look at it, the steps. First you do this, next you do this, finally you do this. Okay, that's telling us steps. Where in the other paragraph, it was John was talented in many ways, and they listed each one. Okay, So this tells you, and then you can come up with the implied main idea. Let's see if we're right.
Look at this paragraph now. Remember, first identify the topic, then determine what. It's become very popular. Sense that's not exactly like these, but it's essentially a general statement. Yep, right. So that's it. Identify the topic of the paragraph and find what the writer wants. Right.
Okay, so we were on target, weren't we? The 3 steps. Now, we didn't state it exactly like he did, but we were pretty dang close. And that's the whole idea. Because usually when you're looking at implied main ideas, you have to just know what they're talking about. You need to know. And one of the ways to know this is through transition words. Okay, so let me erase this. Transition words are extremely important because it shows you the patterns. Transition words. Or signal words, okay? You probably heard them used both ways. These are words or phrases that connect ideas. Okay? So, transitions are phrases or words to connect one idea to the next. Okay, they connect those ideas from one thing, just like in our steps, first, next, finally. Okay, it gives you a pattern, it gives you a direction, kind of like a map or a guidepost to put you through the paragraph, and it shows you where to go. Transitions also show the relationship within a paragraph or within a sentence between the main idea and the support the author gives for those ideas, right? Because our supporting details were listed in steps. Transitions are used by the author to help the reader progress from one significant idea to the next. Different transitions do different things. I want you to watch this video.
Hi, glad you're here. You know, this is really exciting. Winter's almost over. We're better starting spring. It's going great. Okay. We did it. And words. Oh, let's see how we use this words today. Shit this week. That's not language. I'm Mark Franco. So, those big is in the stories. Did I? Mark? No. Typically, it's two. Relations are clear, we can use a transition or transition. Right. There's a relationship. However, I'm saying this. So it's the same thing. Maybe there's so many things that expressing you about this recent. Let's say right along here. Opposition between set and yourself. From a transmission that express words show the relationship between ideas, but yeah, there's sides. So, actually, that is here. See how these transition boards work? You get ideas that are related and use transition words to connect the ideas and show the relationship is. Transition words are very useful in writing. They help make your ideas flow between next pair. So it's it's very important to pay attention to transitions very closely. This way, the ideas themselves are connected. It's like this video we did. It's such
All right. So I'm gonna go to YouTube real quick and I want to show you
As in the midst of applying for residency.
some of these sites he gives you here. So if you go into the PowerPoint, you can go to this, and has all of these resources for you to go into. But the one I want to look at is transition words and phrases. Okay. So like causation is when you cause something, you know, when you do this. This is what they would use with cause, like cause and effect. And we're going to go over these a lot in patterns of organization when we get to that module. But I wanted to show you how these are used all the time. And you're going to see them in a lot of your books because it, like I said, it's those guideposts. It's that map through reading that you can follow and not get lost. Chronological, usually with chronological, they give you like a time. It shows you start here, the next hour, this happened, this happened, this happened while I was driving, okay? Part and whole, this is like addition words in the first place too. And you'll notice that a lot of them are used, they cross over each other in the transition words. But as you start to see the pattern in writing and the reading, you're going to use these transition words to not get lost within the reading. Okay. Example, importance, location, okay, similarity. And a lot of these you have heard. It's just sometimes we forget to use them or what they're used for. Okay. So we have completed the main idea module. Okay, we have learned about stated main ideas, implied main ideas, how the supporting details back up those main ideas and the topics. Remember, supporting details are usually the step, the evidence, the ways, the reasons, all of that. So when you're looking for the main idea or when you're developing a main idea, always look for those S words, like steps, ways, types, differences. Okay. Main idea is essential when you're reading. So that article you read over the weekend, you probably were able to comprehend it more by looking for specific details and specific main ideas. That's why it's so important when you highlight your main idea sentence, and then the details are just quick little bullet points. Think of them as short little bullet points that are the evidence of why this main idea is correct. Okay, like we did the steps. First, get rid of the chopsticks if you don't like them and pick them up with your fingers, right? Second, dip it. Third, stick it in the whole piece in your mouth, okay? Those are supporting details. That's all you would have highlighted in that paragraph. Those three things, okay? And sometimes highlighting the transition words in a different color helps. So you could do like orange, you could do orange for your transition words. And as you watch your transition words while you're reading, you're going to see that pattern flow. It's going to give you a direction of how to get through the reading. Because so many times, how many of you get overwhelmed when you're sitting there reading? So much information, right? So these transition words, and then you get lost. I hate getting lost in a page, and I always know when I'm lost when my mind starts to wander. I just can't figure it all out. That's when my highlighters come out. And don't be afraid to highlight your textbooks, okay? You get very little for them when you turn them in, and they'll take them highlighted and written up, okay? You get very little, no matter if you write in the textbooks or you don't write in the textbooks. You get the same amount either way, okay? So if you're selling back your textbook, that's fine. But remember, just help yourself by creating that outline, by creating your notes, by watching those transitions. Because if you follow the guidepost, you'll get to the end and no problem at all. And as you get better at it, you'll get faster. So for example, when I was writing my dissertation, I had to read tons and tons of articles about my topic. All right. I quoted 250 articles in my dissertation. Right? I probably read over 1,000 articles. Now, when you think about it, each of those articles were a good 10 to 12 pages, sometimes 20, sometimes 30. I got to the point where I knew what I was looking for and I could find it. But that took a lot of practice, okay? When I first started my dissertation, I was reading word for word every article until I figured out, okay, I got to start getting some other skills to do this right. So with you guys, with your textbooks, look at the reading, figure out the main ideas, give yourself a path through the reading. Okay, by following the transition words, knowing the details, and knowing the topic sentence. Okay, it's so necessary that you do this so that your comprehension level rises. Okay, so things to consider. It is always important to note that the main idea sentence doesn't always come in the first sentence. Okay, find those S words, right? Find those guideposts, find those S words. Unstated main idea is a challenging process, but when you list those supporting details, the topic, the important point, and the supporting details, you can come up really quickly with the implied main idea. Remember that identifying the main idea can be a daunting challenge, especially when it moves beyond a paragraph to a large passage. Therefore, you will need to be to have carefully read each paragraph and look for connecting ideas. All right, so when you get into long passages, some of your textbooks are not written very reader friendly. I don't know how else to put that. How many of you guys have textbooks in your other classes, online or paper? Okay. And some of those passages may be difficult, especially if you don't have a background in the subject, right? For me, it would have been like science. Okay. I was terrible at science. I can't remember certain things, but I can read it now because I have these skills. You can get through it. Okay. Remember also that fiction, books, novels, dramas, that kind of thing, you're not going to be reading a lot of main ideas and supporting details. Okay. Fiction doesn't go that way because fiction is a narrative, right? It's a story. So they're not going to have topic sentences. So when you use main ideas and supporting details, it's basically in informational text for textbooks, expository text, argument text, those kind of things. Okay. So remember that. So don't get frustrated over when you're starting to read a story or a narrative and you're like, Dr. West does not know what she's saying because there's no main ideas in here. There isn't. Okay. This is just for nonfiction articles and stuff like that you have to read in college, right? Okay. So before we start the group activity, this coming Wednesday is your quiz on main ideas. Okay. So make sure that your notes are up to date. Everything's up to date in your notes, because you can use your notes during the quiz. Also, last time, a lot of you only took it once and left. You have 2 attempts on these quizzes. You can take it twice. Okay. You have to take it in class. It closes the minute the class ends. So make sure you're here that day for the test. Okay. Because you can't take it outside of the class. It's just not how it works. So be here, be ready, have your notes ready. We'll go over everything. We'll take one more review and then I'll put you on the computers. So again, it may be a short day again. But the quiz is going to discuss topics, main ideas stated and implied, supporting details, and those transitions. Okay. So 1 computer in each group, unless you want to do it in pairs. You're going to go to Canvas.